The letter alleged that a fellow Special Ops soldier told his wife their unit orchestrated the princess's death and cover-up.
Number 10. Freemasons covered up the Titanic sinking. There is no shortage of conspiracy theories relating to the Titanic, and one of them involves the British investigation into the sinking. On the one hand, the American inquiry found numerous parties responsible for the disaster, primarily the British Board of Trade, whose lax safety regulations resulted in a limited number of lifeboats.
Reducing the number of lifeboats to 16 means there is now only enough space for 1,000 people, fewer than half on board.
However, in a sharp contrast, the British inquiry exonerated the Board of Trade, leading some to call it a whitewash.
I think the inquiry is a whitewash, complete whitewash.
Many people involved in the investigation were Freemasons, including the presiding judge, lead investigator Lord Mersey, and even the Board of Trade's president, Sidney Buxton. Therefore, some contend that the Freemasons covered up the sinking to absolve themselves of all wrongdoing.
The findings of the inquiry were that the ship was traveling at excessive speed in an ice region, but that none of the crew were to blame.
Number 9. The Clinton body count conspiracy. Yes, this theory is every bit as lurid as it sounds. Everyone loves a good political conspiracy, especially if it involves eliminating opponents in secret. Propagated since the early 90s, the Clinton conspiracy contends that Bill and Hillary Clinton have had dozens of political opponents murdered, including John F. Kennedy Jr. and Deputy White House counsel Vince Foster.
At the time of his death, Vince Foster had become a central figure in the growing Whitewater scandal.
It's the type of garish theory that makes for a great movie, but it has no basis in reality. There is absolutely zero evidence linking the Clintons to any of these deaths. Furthermore, some of the people who were allegedly assassinated are actually still alive. So, you know.
You've also said that you paid a price, that you left office $16 million or so in debt. Today you're a
That was the least of it.
Number 8. Jeffrey Epstein was killed. On August 10, 2019, the most prominent and for some the most believable conspiracy theory of our time was born. That's when Jeffrey Epstein supposedly took his own life inside his New York City jail cell.
This is a huge black eye on the U.S. Department of Justice.
Epstein had compromising information on a number of people, leading many to believe that he was killed. Exacerbating the conspiracy is the fact that standard prison procedures were not adhered to, allowing for many curious holes in the official story.
But the questions have also given way to conspiracy, given that Epstein was a notable figure with notable connections, including with President Trump.
Was a hitman actually responsible for Epstein's death? Many people believe so, with a 2020 Rasmussen Reports poll showing that only 21% of Americans believe that Epstein took his own life.
The questions, and now conspiracies, will continue, as will the frustration and anger of his victims, who still seek justice.
Number 7. The CIA killed John Lennon. The world lost an icon on December 8, 1980, when John Lennon was gunned down outside the Dakota.
Former Beatle John Lennon is dead. He was shot a short time ago outside his Manhattan apartment building.
The perpetrator was Mark David Chapman, a mentally unstable Beatles fan who had become angry at Lennon's public statements and hypocritical lifestyle. But some aren't so sure. The CIA was actively monitoring Lennon, concerned about his left-wing activism and the ability he had to sway the public against various government policies. Some believe that the agency went even further and had Lennon killed.
The fact that he was too honest may have offended some people.
Maybe a hitman assassinated Lennon and Chapman took the fall. Or maybe Chapman had been brainwashed to do it, Manchurian Candidate style. Either way, everything comes back to the CIA and their desire to silence Lennon's activism.
They're after us because we talk about peace, you know. I mean...
Number 6. Hackers stole Malaysia Airlines Flight 370. On March 8, 2014, the world lost sight of Malaysia Airlines Flight 370, which was flying from Kuala Lumpur to Beijing.
2 minutes after talking with air traffic control, 40 minutes into the flight, the plane's transponder goes dark.
The plane disappeared from radar screens, and debris was later found in the Indian Ocean, confirming that it had been destroyed. However, the reason for its destruction remains unknown, prompting countless conspiracy theories. Many contend that hackers were behind the disappearance, with some believing that they took control of the plane's autopilot system and remotely flew it to Antarctica.
But the capacity to take over planes in flight is available, and somebody might use it.
Others, including the UK government's former scientific advisor, Sally Leavesley, believe that the plane was the target of a violent cyber attack.
We do not know who the perpetrators are. We will never know the reasons why.
Number 5. The FBI killed Marilyn Monroe. As in politics, the entertainment industry is filled with conspiracy theories, some of which are more believable than others. A major conspiracy concerns Marilyn Monroe, who died following a drug overdose in her Los Angeles home.
Marilyn Monroe was found dead in bed, under circumstances that were in tragic contrast to her glamorous career as a comic talent.
The official story was that Monroe intentionally took her own life, but of course some suspect foul play.
But it's the rumors of government conspiracy and foul play that have kept interest in Monroe's death alive.
The idea that Monroe was killed was first raised in Norman Mailer's 1973 book, Marilyn, a Biography. He contends that FBI and CIA agents orchestrated her death due to her personal involvement with Robert F. Kennedy. An LA district attorney even attempted to open a criminal investigation into her supposed murder, but this was stopped owing to lack of evidence.
This lack of concrete evidence helps breed speculation of conspiracy and murder.
Number 4. Environmentalists destroyed Deepwater Horizon. As fun as they are, some conspiracy theories just don't make a whole lot of sense. This is undoubtedly one of them. On April 20th, 2010, the Deepwater Horizon oil rig suffered a massive blowout, resulting in a devastating fire that killed 11 people and sank the rig. It also caused the largest environmental disaster in American history, with the destroyed rig spilling 210 million gallons of oil into the ocean.
But the total spill is so much worse than BP let on.
Political commentator Rush Limbaugh posited that the disaster was not an accident, but an intentional act done by, quote, hardcore environmentalist wackos to head off more ocean drilling, because nothing screams environmentalism quite like spilling 200 million gallons of oil into the ocean.
BP says it's put many millions into a healthcare program and has paid $14 billion in claims.
Number 3. The FBI killed Martin Luther King Jr.
Dr. Martin Luther King, the apostle of nonviolence in the civil rights movement, has been shot to death in Memphis, Tennessee.
What we're learning throughout this list is that a lot of people view the FBI as violent and dishonest. The FBI targeted King during their COINTEL operation, deeming him a political subversive owing to his civil rights activism. They not only spied on him, but they sent him a blackmail letter in 1964, positing that King was a sexual deviant and that he should end his own life to avoid public embarrassment. This is all fact.
And of course, the FBI, which is still wiretapping his phones, knows about the discovery of the package and the emotional impact it has on King.
What some question is the involvement, or at least the intention, of King's killer, James Earl Ray. Many people, including the King family, believe that Ray was a scapegoat for a larger conspiracy meant to silence the civil rights activist.
What do you think happened?
The government was very involved.
Number 2. The royal family had Princess Diana killed. There are few dates where the world stood still, and August 31st, 1997 was undoubtedly one of them. That was when Diana, Princess of Wales, passed away from injuries incurred in a horrible car accident.
A short while ago, Buckingham Palace confirmed the death of Diana, Princess of Wales.
The accident occurred just hours earlier when Diana's car hit a pillar in the Pont de l'Alma tunnel in Paris, France. Blame was placed on the inebriated driver, Henri Paul, and the paparazzi chasing the car. But many believe that the royal family were responsible, having planned the crash so that Prince Charles could marry Tiggy Leg Burke.
The letter alleged that a fellow Special Ops soldier told his wife their unit orchestrated the princess's death and cover-up.
The British Metropolitan Police even set up an inquiry called Operation Paget to explore the possibility, but they found no evidence linking the crash to the royal family.
You believe there was a conspiracy to kill Dodi?
They've been murdered.
Number 1. The JFK assassination. There's one conspiracy theory that has captured America's attention more than any other, and that's the JFK assassination. Occurring on November 22, 1963, President Kennedy was shot and killed while riding through Dealey Plaza in Dallas.
President Kennedy and Governor John Connally have been cut down by assassins' bullets in downtown Dallas.
Blame was immediately placed on a retired soldier named Lee Harvey Oswald, but he was killed by a vengeful nightclub owner before he could properly talk. Prior to his death, Oswald claimed that he was a scapegoat. Kennedy's assassination has spawned countless conspiracy theories. with blame being spread around to the FBI, the KGB, the Mafia, and many other organizations.
There are lots of theories. It was Castro, the Mafia, the Soviets, the CIA, you name it.
While evidence has continuously supported the idea that Oswald acted alone, most Americans aren't convinced, signaling what could be the greatest cover-up in the country's history. Do you buy into these theories? Let us know in the comments below.
No one was watching, and Flight 370 would vanish.
Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.